Okay, folks. Hi again. This is Ron Crider. Today we are going to build a revised EWTN A clock. And the reason we're going to do that is because recently they have changed their A clock and they've also changed their B clock. So I would like to do this just so you get another idea as to exactly how to do this. So we're going to go to Other Logs, and we're in natural log 9, and we're going to make a new template. We're going to build this one from scratch, and we're going to call it EWTN clock A, and this is going to be classic. It's going to be on the classic grid for EWTN. Yeah, I know it exists, so we're going to do it over again anyway. Okay, that will now bring us to the blank page where we're going to start to do this, blank grid. It says EWTN up here, classic, EWTN clock A, classic. Every clock begins at 12 midnight. That's how they are all starting. I want to get rid of all of these numbers over here because we don't need all of those. So I'm going to do that just how you would normally get rid of things, except you must use this delete button up here. You cannot use your own delete button on the computer. You must use their delete button. Alrighty, let's begin. When we begin, everything, as I said, always starts at 12 a.m. because when we paste it into where we're going to use it, it will change the times automatically for you. So the very first thing we do on every log that we build is we give it a name, and that will be, we will put every line on the log begins with the and sign, and we're going to here put a bracket and a C, and this is the square bracket, and that stands for comment. And then we're going to write in here, because this will appear on the log, EWTN clock. This computer has a little problem with spacing. CLOCK, clock A for the classic network. And we always say it's going to be local. And we'll hit that button, and there you go. So when this pops up, and we're going to do one more thing here, and I always seem to forget to do this. In the very beginning of every log, we want to put the @ sign in there, and the purpose of the @ sign is that it will cause the log to immediately start as soon as it gets to 12 midnight. When it sees coincidence, 12:00 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever time it turns out to be whenever we paste it into the grid for whenever we're going to be using this A clock on the classic channel. Okay, the thing that you need to know about the A clock, in case you haven't pulled up the actual clock at EWTN, go to ear at EWTN and get their clock. But it starts, EWTN program starts at exactly 00, and it goes down to 27:45 for the first break. 00 to 27:45, that break will go to 30. It will then come back to the program B part, and it will run to 57:45, and it will end it straight up and down. So that's how this clock is going to look. Now, next thing we need to do is tell it where to go. This particular case, in this radio station, we are using a switcher. We're using a Broadcast Tools 8.2 switcher. And instead, it also has an audio card in it, but we're not using the audio card to switch the audio. We're using the switcher. I prefer the switcher because you cannot get two things on the air at the same time with a switcher. You can get two things on the air at the same time with mixing it through the audio card, but not with a switcher. So we prefer to use the switcher. It also gives us a choice of putting 8 different things on the air. So here we're going to say that we're going to give it a name. We have a macro built into a card, and it is SW. In this particular case, I've got to check my little grid here, but since this is EWTN Classic. It's going to be SW4L. Excuse me, in my case, SW means switcher. Number 4, put it on the green light, or L for live. So I'm going to, over here, to give it a couple of spaces because that is the file name, the SW4L, and this says TURN, turn on. Switcher number 4, and this is EWTN Classic. Okay, so that's going to put it on the air. We're going to say local, save, and there it is. So the first thing that's going to happen again at the top of the hour, it will tell you what log this is. Then it will immediately switch the switcher number 4, and the switch number 4 will switch and put EWTN Classic on the air. I'm going to do one additional thing here that I do on all of my logs. You don't necessarily have to do it, but I think it's important. And I'm going to put in here and META ID, and this is going to become the METADATA MET, if I spell right, METADATA ID. So purpose of this, and this will have a time, it will be less than 15 seconds, but we'll put 15 in there. The purpose of this is to write something on the metadata when it appears on the iPhones and Android phones and on the computers and so forth. And if your station has a slogan, change your life, change your station, something such as that, you'll put that information in here. The switcher has already put EWTN on the air, but this little audio file is going to play. You will not hear it on the air. It can't get on the air because the switcher has EWTN on the air. But that port is open. It's going to send the metadata out to the computers and Android phones and to the iPhone. So I put that in there. Now, you can also get very fancy and give every hour its own metadata, but then you're going to have to build a log for every hour. At least in this particular case, you could make this metadata ID a cart and then put a whole bunch of information in that cart so that each time it plays, it's going to tell you about an up-and-coming program. It's going to tell you about a pledge drive that may be coming up. You can put all sorts of information in there, and makes it very worthwhile. Alrighty, next thing, we're going to go down to the bottom of the hour where this A clock has its first break, and that's going to be at 27:45. So we're going to put in here 12:27. We're going to have to change this to 45. 12:27:45. And once again, in here, we're going to say this is 27. It's going to be a 2-minute break. So we're going to say and then we're going to use the square bracket C, and we're going, that's a capital C, close the square bracket, and then we want to put the @ sign in here to say do this immediately, fire this off immediately. And at this time we're going to say this is going to be a 2-minute, see what I mean about my computer, 2 MINUTE, minute, LOCALBREAK. Now the only reason that we're putting this in here is this is to let you know when you look at the log exactly what's happening. The only thing that's important and what you just wrote there is this, the C in here, the and then the C, the comment, and the @ sign. All the rest of this stuff doesn't mean anything, but this is going to fire this off at 27:45, and that's when the break starts. Now, in this particular case, we have to turn on Simian, so we're going to go to 27:45 again. I want to try something here just for fun. 27:45. Well, we'll do it the right way. So we're going to go to 27:45. Let's go down here to 27:45. 45. And we're going to put in the command to tell Simeon to go on the air, and that will all, in turn, turn EWTN Classic off the air. So that's going to be an and sign. Always start every break like that. And then it's going to be SW1L. Turns on. See, look, I hate this. What happens? Turns on Simeon to play breaks. Okay, and that's all that has to happen in there. That's going to be this guy here, and there we go. And that's going to tell you what's going to happen next. Now, again, at 27:45, or we should always refer to it as 27:45, because it could be just any time, any 27:45 when it starts to play back. So this is 27:45, and we're going to begin a break here at 27:45. So we go up to this top line, and we say, start the commercial avail. This commercial avail, it's at 8 o'clock, and it plays a lot on the weekend. So we're going to say, even though it's a 2-minute break, we're going to make it we're going to say, but you can have 4 spots in that 2-minute break. So we put 4 maximum spots in the break are 4. And it says down here, commercial break 4 spots. So we put that in there. And this is all very, very important. This is a 2-minute break, and that's all the longer it's going to let it be. And the next place we go to is fill priority. That's 0. That is the highest priority. And that also means that we're going to put mandatory in here. You must run this break. Otherwise, you're going to get way out of whack. So this is the way it's always going to look. Now, in this particular case, I've chosen to make room for 4 spots. It doesn't necessarily have to put 4 spots in there. When it loads this, when it builds this log, and natural log will build the log for you. You don't have to do it. It's giving it the ability here to put 4 spots in there. And the reason for that is some of these stations run quite a few 30-second spots. So we have to have, if we only had room for 2 spots, 2 1-minute spots we put in there, then it would only run 2 60s. It couldn't run a 60 and a 30. Now it can run whatever it needs to run and get it done. So we're going to say save that. There you see, there's where the spots are going to be, and it's going to start at 27:45. And it's going to, the next event that's going to take place here at 27:45 is that we have to fill it with 15 seconds of something to get us to 30. Because it's going to 27:45, 28:45, 29:45. We have 15 seconds to fill. So again, we're going to put this at 29. Okay, let's go here and make this 45. And in here, we're going to fill it with something. And what I call it is, okay, there we go, picking up where we left off. Here we're going to put in a join. So this is going to be and then it's going to be JOIN 15 CT. So that is JOIN CART 15 seconds. So we're going to make that 15 seconds. And what that is going to be is a cart that is going to have all sorts of join information into it. So it may have your station liners, it may promo a program that's coming up, but it needs to fill to get to 30. And that will be a cart that you will put in there to do whatever you want to put in for 15 seconds. And we're going to go down here to 30. Here we go. And at 30, we need to turn back on the switcher, SW4. Now we've already put that in there, and SW. So now since we already put it in there, we can go look for it, SW4, and SW4 wants to come back with an @ sign, SW4 Classic on the air. That's fine, that's what we're going to do. And the source is local. Now, we put an @ sign there because we want it to get there at exactly 30. A lot of people think, well, we don't have to put an @ sign there. We'll just sort of walk right back into it. Whenever we get there, we get there. Well, it's sloppy. This makes it clean. Now, if you're using an ASI card and it does have overlap, I always like to set my overlap at 500 milliseconds, which is like a half a second. And what that will do is if every one of your spots, now remember, this is all important, if every one of your spots are timed out correctly, and I make them just a teeny bit shorter than 60 seconds, but if they're all timed out correctly, we want to have just a teeny bit of leftover air down here to get back into the break because we don't want anything being cut off. So I would set my audio science card to a segue of 500 milliseconds. We'll talk about that at another time. But now we're back into programming, SW4L, at 30 minutes past the hour, but we still need to come back for this metadata, so let's put in 30 again. Here comes the 30. Okay, there's the 30. And we're going to start with the and sign and do the ME. And you just have to put that in, and it'll take you to your metadata ID. I got a whole bunch of them in there, but that's what's going to go in there. That's 15 seconds. And the fill code is local. And bingo. Now you've got your metadata restarting after you've put EWTN Classic on the air. And we only have one more thing to do, and that means we have to come up to the top of the hour, and this A clock. The new A clock ends at 57:45, and so that means that we're going to have a 1 minute break at the top of the hour. 2 minute break at the top of the hour, excuse me. So, once again, we're going to go to 57:45. Make that 45. 57:45. Okay. And this, we will begin as always with the sign, and this is a open bracket, C, close bracket, and we're going to go and see. I think I have something in here that says 2 minute break. There it is, NC 2 minute break. But it is going to need a @ sign. Why does it need an @ sign? Because it needs to happen immediately at that time. So we're going to put the @ sign there. So every time you begin a break, you're going to have to put your little @ sign there in order for it to actually start on time. There was no longer, in the old days, EWTN did have a way of sending tones and causing it to switch. They don't do that. Everything is done in real time as what we refer to as hard time. So there's a local break. Now the next thing we need to do is turn on Simian so it will play the local break, and we've already done that. So let's go to 57:45. 57:45. And this is going to be the and sign SW, and we can just go to the drop down menu and find SW1L because that's what we put on the play the break. That doesn't need any timing, and it will look like that. There you go with your SW1L. Now it's set to play the break. We might be running out of lines here. Now if you run out of lines because I took too many out of there, then what you can do is click on there, and to add a line, go up here where it says insert blank. Not avail, insert blank. Go ahead and stick 4 lines in there. We can take them out when we're finished, and then we'll just add 4 lines so we don't run out. Now the next thing is the 2 minute break. So we're going to, this needs to be, and I made a mistake here, this needs to be 57:45 because that's when that's going to start. So let's go back here and change that to 57:45. There you go. Just like the other one was, 27, 27, 27, 57:45. We need another 57:45 here to start the break. So we're going to go here and go to 57:45. And that's the time it's going to start, and we're going to begin the break. And in this particular break, we're going to make it really simple. We're only going to put 2 spots in it, which would be obviously 2 1-minute spots. We're going to tell it is a 2 spots, and the break is 2 minutes long. That's very important. Fill priority is maximum. 0 is the maximum priority. It must be 0. And the source is going to be local. And that's the way it's going to look. 2 spots, 2 minutes. It should look exactly like that. There's your 2 spots. That's going to take us up to 57:45, 58:45, and 59:45. Now, 58:45. I'm going to make another little adjustment here. So let me just take this out of here and delete that. And I'm going to make this 58:45. So this break will start at 57:45 again, but I'm only going to make it a 1-minute break, and I'll tell you why here in just 1 second. This is going to be 57:45. Ron, get it right. 57:45. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. And we're going to start the break, and we're only going to make it a 1-minute break. So let's go up here and tell it it's a 1-minute break. Start the break, and we're only going to put, well, we'll go ahead and put 2 spots in this break, and it's going to be a 1-minute break, and number of spots is 2. It says 2 here. Number of spots in the break is 2 spots. 2 spots, because you could get 2 30s in there if you wanted to. Fill priority is 0. It's maximum. We always are going to do this till I tell you to not do this. And then we're going to end the local break, and there it is. And now you have your 2 spots in here for 57, and it's a 1-minute break. So that's going to take you up to 58:45. Now the reason we're going to 58:45 is because I'm doing this as an example for a station that we work with at 58:45, and it just so happens that their ID is, believe it or not, is 1 minute and 15 seconds. And the reason for that is because they have a whole lot of radio stations, and all of their radio, they have to give an ID for all of their radio stations, and the ID is 1 minute and 15 seconds. 1 minute and 15 seconds. So that's why we would be doing that. Normally, it would only be 15 seconds there at the end, but in this particular case, it's going to start at 57:45. At 58, after that 1-minute spot plays, at 58:45, it's going to play a 1 minute and 15 second ID. And there it goes. And that's your hour. Now let's walk through the hour one more time. The first line at the top of the hour says it's Classic Clock A. It's on the Classic channel of EWTN. It's going to turn the Classic channel on, which is switcher number 4, switch position number 4 in the switcher. We'll put the metadata in. All this will happen exactly at the top of the hour. The actual break will leave EWTN and go at 27:45 because there's an @ sign there, and do a 2-minute break. And it will turn SW1 on, which turns the Simian on to play the break. Then it will do the commercials, and we put 4 commercials in there, even though it's a 2-minute break, so you can stick some 30s in there. 29:45, we're going to do a join, a separate cart, because you need to fill with 15 seconds to get to 30 when it starts. Then at 30, we're going to put Classic back on the air. We're going to put that metadata in at the same time. That's now going to take us up to 57:45 with the @ sign, which will leave at that time, exactly that time. It will put SW1 back on the air. That will play the commercials. The Simian will play the commercials, and it will play the ID, and that's how that hour works. So I trust that this has not been excessively long. It's a good reference material. This is a revised A clock from EWTN. It was recently changed. As of today, this is 8/28/18 when I made this, so hopefully you will be looking at this one and not the old one, and I'll try to get rid of the old A clock that I created. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. You know how to reach me. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I can build any clock you want. Just let me know what you'd like, and I'd be happy to give you a hand with it. Thanks, and have a real blessed day.